Hi, my name is Ed Wehan, and I'd like to welcome you to this edition of Our Ventura. I'm really excited and pleased to have as my guest today Mr. Joe Bova, principal of Foothill Technology High School here in Ventura. Welcome, Joe.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks for having me.
I think a lot of people here in Ventura have heard about Foothill. They've heard the name, but they probably aren't that familiar with the school itself. Perhaps you could give us a little background on the history of Foothill, how it came to be, and where we are now.
Okay. Well, when they were talking about Foothill, I was actually working at the district office for a few years back, just before year 2000, and was a teacher at Ventura High for 10 years. And when I left in the late around 2000 to go to the district office, I heard word about this Foothill as well. I didn't know anything about the school or very little about the school at the time, but it came about because there was some overcrowding at the other two high schools, especially Buena High School, and so the district decided they didn't really need a full comprehensive high school, a third comprehensive high school, but they needed to add another type of high school to kind of alleviate some of the overcrowding. So they looked at different concepts around the state and decided on a magnet concept. And so the school was opened in 2000 with the idea that it would draw students for particular areas of interest. And but the original reason that it was formed, or the idea came about because of overcrowding in the district.
I see. So as it's evolved, then what has made Foothill, say, different from the other high schools that people may be familiar with?
Okay. Well, like I said, when it was formed as a magnet, and magnet high schools are schools that don't have boundary areas. So Ventura or Buena, people are probably familiar with the fact that if you live in the Buena boundary, you have to go to that school. If you live in Ventura, you have to go to Ventura. Foothill doesn't have boundary areas. Our kids come to us through a random lottery process. The students fill out a half-sheet application, and then they can get in the lottery, and then we take however many kids we can take that year. The school right now is about 1,000 students. So we take roughly between 250 and 300 freshmen each year into the school. But the school's focus has two focus areas. One is bioscience or health sciences, and the other one is well, there's kind of three, but the two main ones are health sciences and communications. And then we also focus a lot on technology, although technology is not really a strand area for us. We just use technology as a tool every day at the school. So those focus areas, the fact that the school is a small learning environment is one of the things that brings people to the school, only being 1,000 kids compared to Ventura and Buena, which are about 2,000 to 2,100 students. But those are the main focus areas.
I see. And you mentioned technology, and obviously the name Foothill Technology infers that there's some element of technology that may be different than the other high schools, or is it pretty much the same?
No, it's different than the other high schools. The way the school was built, the concept of the school was one around concentrating on integrated learning or integrated curriculum. And so each of our buildings have 5 or 6 classrooms that surround a centralized room that we call pods, or computer pods. So every building has classrooms and then computers available for students or use every period of the day. Typically at a regular high school, and I taught at one for a long time, students will go maybe into a computer lab a few times during the year and use computers, or they may go to the library and use computers. We try to use computers every day. In fact, things are changing so quickly, and that was kind of the old model. I mean, we have these pods that were built at our school that are actually becoming kind of outdated because we're going so much to mobile technology now that the concept of having regular PC labs is kind of going out the window. And so at this point, it's kind of bring your own device to school kind of thing, and our teachers are actually using a lot more iPads. We're in the process of we just started an iPad Academy where we're using some foundation money that we collected a number of years ago from parents that parents raised for us to buy iPads for each teacher who wants to apply, and then for about 3 to 5 teachers, they're going to have an iPad plus about 12 iPad minis that just came out, and they're going to use those for instructional purposes in the classroom. But in addition to that, kids are bringing their iPhones, they're bringing their smartphones to school. We use those often in the classroom instruction at this point, and so it's really evolving very quickly at this point.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. If I were going back to school, it'd be a good place to learn some of that stuff. I've fallen so far behind now, I think.
Right.
Talking about biosciences, that's another major emphasis there at the school. What is the emphasis and how does that work into the curriculum and as students move forward?
Okay. Well, the Bioscience Academy started about 6 or 7 years ago. Like I said, it was one of the strand areas, but it took the school a few years to kind of get the startup stuff done until we started really working on the academy. We wrote a grant for about $250,000 from the state of California to start this new strand. And the focus, like I said, is health sciences. Students apply for it in their freshman year, the spring of their freshman year, to enter the academy in their sophomore year. And in their sophomore year, they start with a class called Bioscience Survey, which is a course that kind of looks at all the different aspects of the medical field and the different careers available in the medical field. It's a survey course. And at the same time that year, they take chemistry that year. Then in their junior year, they take two other courses that are part of the academy. One is called Medical Technology, which is, the best way I can describe it is it's similar to a nursing training course. So they do that, they learn CPR, they learn all the different things you would learn as, if you were going through a nursing program. And then they take physiology honors that couples with that class. Then in the senior year, there's actually two actual Bioscience Academy courses that are just for bioscience kids, and one of them is bioethics, which is a fascinating course. It's actually taught by one of our social science teachers who has a background in social science, but and he's doing an amazing job of kind of bringing some of those issues to life for kids, the real life issues of science and the medical field. And then the other one is a biotechnology course, which is a specific course to kind of lab procedures and lab setting in the current medical field. So those are the courses. In addition to that, the kids in their junior and senior year start to do job shadows and then internships. And we've really created some great partnerships with both Ventura County Medical Center and with Community Memorial Hospital. Our kids go in, our kids have seen, it's amazing, they've seen open heart surgeries, they've seen births, they've seen just about hip replacements. They're able to get in there and really see what happens day to day in the medical field to decide whether they really want to do it. You know, many of our kids, I'd say 70% of the kids that finish our cohorts go on to college in some field or some major with the plan to go to the medical field, and 30% don't because they may decide that that's not maybe the thing for them.
Yeah, that's a good learning experience. Talking about college then, would you say that Foothill is formatted to provide an environment that encourages the students to go on to college?
Absolutely, yeah. That's I think when I started at the school, which was the second year of the school, that was definitely a major focus. One of the things in education that I've seen over the years is that there's really not nearly as many kids as you would think being ready to go to university or ready to go to a UC or Cal State school. So our goal from the very beginning was that we'd have a college prep default curriculum. So every kid takes college prep. There's no lower level tracking of classes. Every kid's in college prep. Every kid gets the opportunity to be prepared to go to college. Now, they may make the choice not to go to college, or they may not get the grades they need to qualify for college, but they're going to take the coursework that's necessary to go to college. So we definitely promote that from their freshman year through their senior year. We have a very strong AVID program, which stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, which is a program that helps to support students who maybe they're the first person in their family to go to a university, or they're an underrepresented minority group at the university level. But we bring those strategies and those supports to every kid at our school. So when a kid starts in their freshman education digital age class, they're going to get all those same supports that every AVID kid gets to help them be prepared, whether it's learning how to take notes for college, learning how to organize a notebook, learning what the UC A-to-G requirements are, how to write a college application letter. In fact, our kids actually write their letters as part of their English curriculum in their senior year. So a lot of things are really built into the curriculum. We're really proud. I think the last statistic on that was I think about 70% of our kids meet the eligibility to apply to a UC or CSU. And you're thinking, well, why isn't it 100%? Well, 100% is pretty tough. You have to get a C or better in every one of those classes to be eligible. But that compares with the state average of about 35%. So it's about double what the state average is.
Yeah, that's high. One of the other areas it seems like that Foothill does a real solid job is in its communications, in its Dragon Press, which I think viewers can find online and stuff. Could you talk a little bit about its accomplishments and what it's achieved?
Sure. You know, the papers, I think, you know, our online paper's only been around for about 3 years, I think, and the advisor who took that over was Melissa Wantz, who's just an incredible teacher. But she also has a background, she was a journalist. In fact, she wrote for the Star, would have been the Star Free Press maybe at the time when she wrote for it, but she has a journalism background and really has a passion for it. And she's basically did a startup online newspaper that now is recognized nationally. The most recently, I think they were named in the top 6 online newspapers in the nation. And it's been not only is we're proud of the accomplishments of the newspaper, but it's been really a great culture builder for our school, because they cover, in a traditional paper at a high school, you might get an edition that comes out every couple weeks or once a month. And by the time you read a newspaper, things have kind of passed by and it's kind of old news, where they're covering minute to minute things that are going on our campus. So when something happens, in fact, I'm probably doing interviews with them a couple times a week because they're on every story that's going on. So it's been great. And in addition to that, there's a couple of new things that we have that have really, I think, helped us with communication. And that is we just got a brand new website that was also built by Melissa this summer, which is really much easier to navigate. And we really wanted to make it easy for parents to be able to get into our website, get onto our own, we have our own wiki for our staff and students, which for people that may not know is a kind of a collaboration tool where everybody can kind of network and converse in an organization. So we have this wiki where parents can go now to every teacher in the school, and every one of their opening pages is uniform, so that a parent can very easily find out exactly what happened that day. In fact, it'll even have what happened that day in class. It'll have the PowerPoint from that day, it'll have the homework, and then it'll have in addition to all those things on the site, it'll have the syllabus for the course. So it's very easy if a kid's absent to be able to find out what's going on and for parents and teachers to communicate. In our remaining couple minutes, let's just touch on a couple additional things. One, Foothill's won a lot of awards and has some recognition. Maybe you could touch on that for a second? Sure. We're certainly really proud of the accomplishments of the school, and you know, I've been there for about 11 or 12 years. I've been there since the second year of the school, which would be 2000. I came in the 2001, 2002 school year, and we were just kind of this new school that was just built. We had about 500 kids, not really on anybody's radar. Trouble recruiting at the time because people didn't really know about the school. So to kind of see it evolve over the years and see the school grow and see the school improve and get rewarded and recognized for it's been really gratifying. But in the last, probably since about 2004, 2005, we started to receive awards, whether it be because we were ranked in some of the top high schools in the state. You know, we've kind of gone back and forth, but we're generally somewhere around the top 20 high schools in the state for kind of regular type high schools in the state, in terms of our API ranking based on our test scores. And then with that, it's come some other awards, like we've been recognized as a California Distinguished School. And then in 2006, and then just this year, we found out earlier this year in 2012, we were recognized as a National Blue Ribbon School, which is really, really difficult to do these days. It's much harder than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago to get the award. You have to meet certain criteria based on the testing now, where before it was a lot more open in terms of the criteria for schools. So we actually just barely qualified for it this year, and of the 35 schools in California that were nominated, only 24 got the award this year, where it's always been that all the schools that got nominated got the award. So we received that award. We've also been named an Avid. I mentioned Avid earlier. We've been named an Avid National Demonstration School. We're the only magnet high school in the nation that's a demonstration school for Avid. So those are a few of the awards that we received. And I think the application process starts sometime December, January for incoming 8th graders to be able to apply for the following year, and that's obviously done by lottery. So we're coming to an end here, so I want to thank you for your time and your observations and your passion for Foothill Technology High School. And I want to thank all of you for joining us here at Our Ventura, and we look forward to seeing you during our next show. Thank you.